What it do, what it do, it's episode number 2, VM Vlogs, Vinson McMurtery. Let's get it. In one of the questions I answered last episode, I briefly touched on what I call the 2 mental approaches to drum set, and how I felt that they could remedy the issue I was discussing. In this video, I really want to focus on these 2 approaches, give you my thought process behind each of them, and then show you how you can apply them to real-world playing. Performing any task in daily life requires both physical and mental abilities. The task, however, determines how much physical or mental ability is required. For example, throwing a ball of paper into a waste bin requires little mental ability.
I'm about to throw this paper in that bin.
However, the physical ability required to actually land that piece of paper in the waste bin varies from person to person. On the contrary, putting together a jigsaw puzzle requires little physical ability. You just put the pieces together. But the mental ability required is substantially higher considering the difficulty level of the puzzle, number of pieces, etc. How does this relate to music? Simply stated, playing a musical instrument is just another task that requires both physical and mental abilities. Don't get me wrong, I am in no way downplaying the dedication that it takes to play a musical instrument. I've been studying music seriously since 2007, so I know firsthand that dedication, and I'm still nowhere close to perfect. I'm just trying to clarify that you don't have to be a special breed of person or have magical powers to play a musical instrument. Drum set in particular. Many feel that they don't possess the coordination or independence to play this instrument. Now, while those physical abilities are needed, I feel that the mental abilities needed are much more important. Approach number 1 is called the burger approach. Now, I know what you're thinking. What does a burger have to do with playing drums? But that's exactly where you're wrong. It has nothing to do with actually playing. It's all about your mental approach to the kit. Let me explain. It all started when I was a kid. I was a pretty big fan of SpongeBob. I remember this one episode where he forgets to put the pickles on a Krabby Patty, and then he loses all confidence in his ability to do his job. So Mr. Krabs sends him home, and he spends most of the episode in his living room in a nervous frenzy trying to remember how to put this burger together. Now, where does this connect? I use this approach with students who feel overwhelmed about the independence or the coordination, just like SpongeBob did. They don't know how to put that burger together. So I use this approach to show them the building blocks to stack on top of each other to build that tasty burger, to build that tasty groove. Check this out. Take this simple pattern, for example. Consider the independent parts of the pattern as independent parts of a burger. Think of the kick drum as the bottom bun. Start by playing just the kick. Once you feel comfortable with that, leave it mentally. Let the muscle memory take over and focus on the next piece of the burger, which is the patty, or in this case, the snare. Once you set the patty, move on to the toppings, which are, in this case, the hi-hat. last but not least, the top bun, or in this case, your left foot. Remember, the more independent parts you have, the bigger your burger is going to be. This may be the approach for you if you like taking building blocks and working your way up. But once you get all those pieces together, you can enjoy a tasty burger or a groovy beat, your choice. Approach number 2 is called the 4-quadrant approach. Now, if you're a vegetarian or you simply don't like the idea of starting from the bottom, then this may be the approach for you. This approach takes a more mathematical method to connecting the mental and physical abilities used to play this instrument. You are all too familiar with the Cartesian plane. Do you remember taking a sheet of graphing paper and then drawing a cross with an X and Y axis, splitting that page into 4 quadrants? Well, that's what this approach is about. You take that same concept, apply it to your brain. Split your brain into 4 quadrants. Each quadrant is in charge of a respective limb. Let's take the same simple pattern, but this time using the 4-quadrant approach. Just like before, start with the kick, which in this case, quadrant 1. Next, add the snare, quadrant 2. Next is the hi-hat, quadrant 3. And last but not least, quadrant 4, your left foot. The difference with this approach is you're not mentally leaving pieces behind. You are identifying each piece of the pattern, then combining them to see how they fit together. So whereas the burger approach is more vertical, the 4-quadrant approach is horizontal. Neither approach is better than the other, nor is one approach easier than the other. It's a mental thing. Whether you identify more with the burger approach or the 4-quadrant approach is dependent upon your learning style, and we're all different in that regard. I'm also not suggesting that these are the only 2 approaches, but I have found in my experience with students that almost all of them fall into one of these 2 categories. Now, the purpose of this video was to diffuse the myth that drum set is some impossible instrument to play, and also to hopefully provide you with some insight on how my 2 mental approaches can help you lead to successfully playing this instrument. Thanks again for watching. I'm Vinson McMurtery. We'll see you next time.